speed rules and every second counts. Where rubber meets the road and the stakes are sky high. Two voices bring you the pulse of the track, the thrill of the chase, and the roar of the engines. This is Loose Lugs with Lauren Leitch and Mark Allen. Buckle up and hold tight, because the green flag drops now.
Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Loose Lugs Racing podcast, presented by the Corp Racing and Valley Gasket. Thank you, Ben, Carrie, and Tim, for all that you do for us. It's amazing what you do for everyone. So greatly appreciate your friendship and everything that you do for everyone. Mark, episode 194, man. How are you doing? Man, we actually get to talk about some racing that happened.
Buckle up, Buttercup. It says, hey, man, hey, we got Bowman Gray in, man. It took some effort, man, but we got her in.
Man, yeah, it was supposed to happen Sunday. Well, first off, on-track stuff was supposed to start Saturday. That got canceled. Then it was supposed to run Sunday. That got canceled. It got moved to Monday initially. That got rescheduled to last night. And, well, if you thought weather wasn't going to be involved, you thought wrong, because the second half of that thing was quite interesting with what the weather brought.
Yeah, for sure. You know, the cold weather, and you had a feel for the fans, man. You know, I expected a better crowd than what was there, you know. But, you know, if it's 38 there, that's like something like 20 below for us. You know how it is sitting at Lambeau like that. But, yeah, and then it had to be miserable being rainy and sleet and all that stuff. But, yeah, man, they did a decent job. It's just unfortunate that Fox kind of gave up at the end for the Masked Singer. Are you kidding me? But anyway, it was an exhibition, everything like that. We got to see some racing and yeah, some grinding and stuff like that. It's a decent race there at Bowman Gray.
Yeah, you know, the weather certainly factored into the crowd, but you got to remember people purchased those seats. So if people were traveling for it and they paid for those tickets, you can't just resell that ticket because they don't know if that person's coming or not. So I don't put too much stock into the crowd. I think if it was just, you know, if you're here, you got a seat, I think it would have turned out differently. But with them selling tickets for that, that's a different ball game. But yeah, Fox turning it over to FS2 was unfortunate. But you know, they have pre-scheduled things, and things happen, I guess. Unfortunate all the way around. I think the most unfortunate thing is, you know, this was supposed to promote racing season starting, getting into the Daytona 500, promoting Daytona. And unfortunately, with the weather and everything and how it transpired, I'm not exactly sure that got accomplished.
So, but hey, man, if it was the Daytona 500, though, it would beat out Bob's Burgers and, you know, and all them animated stuff on Fox. So at least the racing is better than those programs. But anyway, just joking around, everything like that. You know, it's just an exhibition. And, you know, I had some people actually text me right away, like, I can't get to watch the end of it. I'm going Fox Sports app, you know, and I have that on my phone, and I flipped that right on over. It was convenient for me. FS2, that's just a distant network there. You know, FS1 had a live basketball game on, so they couldn't cut that one off. So anyway, they did the best that they could there.
Yeah. Yeah, I have FS2 a part of my programming here. But I was watching it on delay because I had something scheduled on Wednesday night to go to actually a basketball game with a coworker. So I was watching on delay. So I actually didn't get to see on my recording the end of it either. But I was able to catch what I missed eventually. And yeah, some hurt feelings. Interesting race, that's for sure. You know, it started out with Michael McDowell jumping the start over Barry. So he got penalized in the last chance qualifier. So he had to go to the back after Herbst spun 6 laps in, but that last chance qualifier, oh man, I tell you what, some great battles throughout the field, especially for second.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. All of a sudden it was 6 laps in, we got our first caution, and then Fox went back to take a look at the restart. And finally, once when they broadcasted, I don't know if NASCAR was watching, because then after that was, oh, okay, he jumped the start. It's just like I question mark, like, was NASCAR watching the program and then found out that it was a slam dunk call. It's just something that took that amount of time to get that penalty out.
Yeah, Boyer called it out right away, and they did say it was under review. With it being a quarter mile, if you're reviewing it, those 6 laps, I mean, you're talking what, a minute and a half, 2 minutes. So it's like,
Yeah,
reviewing it, that's maybe why it took the 6 laps to make that penalty. But like I was talking about, that battle for second between Cindric, LaJoie, and Allmendinger, man, that was some good racing there.
that's good stuff right there, man. I was pumped for that, saying, all right, we got ourselves a good show, man. They put they put on some good stuff. Yeah, right there, once when LaJoie, he went up and, he bumped AJ, but, at the very end, AJ, he came back and he did some bumping of his own, and I'm sure, Cedric, he looked like he was the bad guy, but he wasn't the one that hit LaJoie. I'm sure LaJoie behind the wheel, just like, what are you doing driving me high? But Allmendinger came in and tagged him and set them both up high. So interesting stuff right there. Yeah, you could be mad at somebody for moving you, but it's usually 2-3 guys behind that caused the whole thing. That happened once again later in the evening.
Yeah. Josh Berry won the last chance qualifier, so he got in. Cindric ended up getting second in that great battle between him, LaJoie, and Allmendinger. And then Bowman also got in with his position in points. So those were the 3 that advanced from the last chance qualifier.
Yeah, McDowell, he came back to like 9th place. But there just wasn't enough time. But he definitely had a good car. But then, yeah, like the closer you get to the front, the harder they are to pass, and there just wasn't enough laps for him to get back up front.
Yeah. Then the Clash main event ended up getting going, and Larson led early. Byron ended up putting a bumper to him on lap 71 and getting around him. It wasn't too bad, though. That I say got a bumper to him. There was some contact, but nothing too bad there. And Briscoe was a big factor early, and then the halfway break came, and they got out of the pits, or as they were in the pits, it started raining or sleeting or whatever you wanted to call it, and that put a whole bag of what do you want to call it? Just a wrench in everyone's plans there.
Yeah, it was amazing just to see how wet it really was when they came back from commercial. Like, oh my! But they got on top of it, and put the rain tires and everything like that. Yeah, when Byron, touched Larson and moved him up into the upper groove, and that was lights out for Larson after that. Everything fell apart from him for the rest of the evening there. He fell all the way back to 8th place there at the halfway point. It was something how Gibbs got around Briscoe there at the end, to get the lead before the halfway point. So quite interesting. It looked like that the Toyotas and Gibbs was going to be the ones to beat on this night at halfway.
Yeah. Like I said, then the sleet came, and that threw a wrench in it for a lot of people. But there were some movers and goers. I think about Daniel Suarez. He came on in the second half after the wet weather. Ryan Preece, Ryan Blaney fell back initially. He got back to the front. Also we should talk about this. It became a fuel mileage with all the cautions that were run. I think Elliott ran out, didn't he? And Larson did. So there was some fuel mileage having to be played here in this thing too, which is really uncommon.
I was watching Kenny Wallace, the old having some coffee with him. He's down in Florida, so he really ain't in his home turf with his cup up in the air. And actually, he would have won a race down there in a dirt race, but he had a piston a shock that came apart. The piston of the shock came apart, and I guess it tore the spring apart, and that was the end of him. But hey, he brought that up and wondered why there was a different groove. There was a different groove that they were running. And guess it was explained to him like, the lower groove is already ground down and shiny, and up in the upper parts, the track has more abrasion to it. And with that being wet, they all used the upper groove. So there was a different kind of groove, and sometimes they went a little bit too far. They ground themselves into the wall. But interesting. You got to. I actually sat for a minute and said, back in the day, remember once when it got wet, you were doomed. You're just like, we can't run and everything like that. And, just on a little tiny short track like that, with the brakes and the wet tires and everything, it's amazing, man, that they can actually boogie around the racetrack on a wet racetrack, man. Thankful that process has happened, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing that made that groove kind of switch up was, the rubber is laid down on the bottom of the track, and yeah, it'll eventually wash off. But when you got rubber laid down there and then moisture on top of it, that makes it a little bit more slick. So that's why another thing that played a factor into that groove moving up. So it was interesting to see that. I think Boyer again was the one that called, or maybe Mike Joy said, this groove has definitely never been raced here before. And that's true. So, yeah, what an interesting event there. There was a lot of action, of course. You mentioned it. It came from 2 or 3 cars back in a lot of instances. I'm not going to point them all out. I think Kyle Larson had a rough day. Denny Hamlin had a rough day. Gibbs was looking like he was going to have a good day. He kind of got roughed up a little bit. But at the end of it all, how about this? A guy who's joined our program in the past. We're hoping to have him on again here in the near future. Ryan Preece gets his first win in a Cup car. I'm not going to call it first Cup Series win because it's an exhibition race, so it doesn't really go on your record. But he gets his first win in a Cup Series car, and man, was he emotional. He's such a great guy. Worked very hard. He didn't know if he was going to have a job, and all your dreams come through at that moment. That was really cool to see him in victory lane.
What a shot in the arm, huh, man? That's going to build the confidence, and finally he can say, hey, I can do this. I'm a winner, and so expect probably good things coming out of RFK, man. All 3 of them, I expect them to up their game. They sure all look good at the end of the year last year, and we'll see if they can roll that over to here into 26.
It's funny. You and I talked about this. What was it, Monday? We talked about some drivers we're keeping an eye on and some of the drivers we like and all that. And I had mentioned Ryan Preece, and you and I both said when I mentioned Ryan Preece that we're expecting big improvement for him. And, I think he was the best RFK car last year in most races, most consistent for sure. So, yeah, this is maybe a sign of things to come for this year.
And he's in a Ford, and that's why he was first on race day last night. Salute.
Sure. We'll glaze over that comment, but no.
There ain't many Fords out there, man. So when they pop a victory, man, you gotta, because the Fords have been dwindling on their car count lately.
Yeah. But no, very, very happy for Ryan Preece and RFK. A good start to the season for them. So that was really cool to see. And, you mentioned it too, NASCAR for getting the wet weather tires. Otherwise, that thing might have been called at halfway. You could have waited hours to try to dry the track. I think that was a great call by them. So got to give them, with everything that they were dealt, kudos to them for getting that event in, making it the best they could, and making that call to go to the wet weather tires.
And the weather report afterwards, man, was 18 minutes later, it started dumping snow, and it ended up dropping 2 inches of snow, afterwards. So after 18 minutes, it was done after the race was over. So they beat the snowstorm. So kudos to them. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Well, I didn't necessarily mean to talk about the Clash, but we kind of just went with the flow there, and I'm glad we did it. But we should also let everyone know that we're over 15 minutes into this deal. Hey, Luke Fenhaus is going to be joining us. He's got some exciting news. He's going to be hopping in the Hettinger Racing O'Reilly Auto Parts Series car here, Ford, for Hettinger Racing. So he's got some exciting news. We'll be happy to talk about him, with him starting his season next week in Daytona. And then, of course, we talked about the Clash already, so we're just going to end with some news. So I think this is a good time here, buddy, to bring Luke on.
Let's go to the hotline. Let's do it, man.
Let's do it. All right, Luke, thanks for joining us here. How's your off season going? And got some pretty big things happening here in a short while.
Yeah, off season's been good. A lot going on this off season. Obviously, moving to different teams, different sponsorship things happening. A lot going on. Stressful time of year. Obviously, feels like every year is stressful off season. But yeah, it's been good. Hopefully, you guys' off season's been good as well.
Yeah, it lasts too long. You know how that goes, man.
Yeah.
So, but hey, man, what is the news coming out of there? Sounds like you got some exciting stuff coming up, man.
Yeah, we're gonna be running Daytona with Chris Hettinger's O'Reilly team now O'Reilly. I almost said Xfinity, but
That's a tough
yeah,
one.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But I'm excited for that new opportunity with Chris. Chris has been a great friend to me. We haven't our relationship really hasn't crossed paths for a little while since I was in the Chevrolet program, and now we cross paths again, and now we're working together and we're doing more business together, and now we're going to be going racing together. So I'm looking forward to that new relationship, kind of, and just working with each other, getting to know everybody. Joe Williams Jr., big part of the team as well. So excited for the opportunity. Going to be the number 5 Ford Mustang, so I'm excited for that, and just to keep things rolling.
Yeah, I was just going to say, staying in the Ford camp there, Ford had
Mhm.
a big part in Hettinger Racing going up to the
Mhm.
O'Reilly series here. So that's pretty cool. Is there Daytona has been announced? I'm assuming there's more to come. Is there a possibility that maybe you go back to the truck series for a few races with Thor Sport, or is that kind of not been the plan, and maybe O'Reilly is going to be a bigger part of your life for this season?
Yeah, I would say the O'Reilly series is probably going to be the most important to me really this next year. I'm pretty loyal to Chris and the guys that are working with me, and financial wise, the people that are supporting me, behind this whole team. So looking forward to that new opportunity, new people. So just enjoying it right now. It's all a lot of things are happening, so it's hard to take it all in. But great race cars, great Doug Yates engine program that's going to be happening, and just looking forward to it. Should be fast race cars, and looking forward to Daytona here next week, and putting in the work with those guys. Get to go down there Monday, do some prep stuff, fly to Daytona Wednesday, and just hammer it out. So I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to the new relationships, getting to work with them, and who knows, truck things comes up. I guess we'll discuss it then. But right now, I'm so focused on Chris, our partners, and just kind of building that relationship, building more races, and looking forward to that.
I haven't seen any other news come out other than Daytona so far, and I don't expect you to break any news here. But is this going to be a multi-race deal? Is there anything that you can say regarding that, or maybe some tracks that you're maybe looking at going to with them?
Yeah, we'll just see how it goes. We got Daytona right now. Should have a couple more, I would think. Um, I'm in a tough spot right now with what to say and what not to say. So, yeah, we're working it all out. A lot of sponsorship opportunities behind me that are kind of in place of what potentially is to come, whether that's going full time or having 15 races or having 5 more. So a lot of things going on. Still so very new because this all took place right around Christmas time. When we switched from Thor Sport to this team. So lot happening in a short amount of time, and obviously different sponsors in and out of things. So it makes it tough to have a sponsor and build a schedule, and just have a good where you're comfortable, I guess, a schedule where you're comfortable with. So right now we're working hard towards that, and hopefully we'll find something.
Hey, turn any laps at Daytona yet? Have you ever been there?
Yeah, I was there in an ARCA car, 21, I think. It's been a while. It's been a little bit since I've been there, but um, looking forward to it. Like Speedway racing in Talladega was good, till it wasn't good, and yeah, just excited to work with them. Different series, so new racers to work with. Obviously, the Ford camp doesn't have that many racers in it this year in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, but looking forward to just being a contender. Pushing well and just putting ourselves in a good spot to be at the end of the race where guys can trust me and trust that we're gonna push well and just have a fast Ford Mustang.
You got to race a few super speedway races last year and had a ton of speed. You mentioned
Hmm.
Talladega, but Atlanta you were very good at as well. Led some laps.
Hmm.
So looking forward to Daytona in the O'Reilly car. You got to be looking forward to that after having a lot of success there last year, early on in your career in NASCAR at super speedways.
Yeah, I had a ton of fun. Talladega was really fun. Just to put yourself in when you're a rookie in that position, just to put yourself in those types of positions where you have a green flag pit stop, you're running in the back, you're making the top lane work by yourself. You're doing a bunch of side drafting to keep yourself in it. All those things I really put myself in a good position. We were out front for a little while. We pushed Ben there at the end. So you live and you learn the mistakes, but I feel like I'm in a better position now where I know some of those things. Obviously now transitioning to a different race car. That those things I'll kind of adapt to as we go. How the side drafting works and understanding that and getting pushed. These cars, I'm guessing, are lighter, so they probably can't take as big as hits as we were in the trucks. We were pushing pretty aggressive there at Talladega, so just some of those things kind of learn as you go. Not sure if we'll work on any pack things related Friday for practice, but that's a good idea to have a good sense of where your car's at in a pack and if it can suck up, if it can push, and um we'll see. Just feel things out. New series, so looking forward to that. And I enjoyed Talladega a lot and got to work with some good guys and had a lot of fun and a lot of speed, so looking forward to replicating that. Just hopefully not spinning anybody out this year.
Well, we talk about super speedway. In my opinion, super speedway racing coming from the short track ranks to super speedway is got to be the toughest transition. And you took to it right away. Why is that, or why do you think that is, and why does that fit your style?
I think it's just a racer in me and just growing up in racing, we've adapted to race cars, different tires, to racetracks we haven't been at. Um, Everything, we go to new racetracks all the time. We race different things. The truck series went to a lot of new racetracks, and to adapt to it and learn the balance of where your car or truck is the main thing. If you can put that at 100% capacity or 90%, you're doing a good job and you're adapting well. So um Talladega was good. We had a fast truck, so I could put myself in a lot of different positions and just felt like just trying different things out, whether it was side drafting on the top or the bottom. As a driver, you gotta learn and see those things quickly because they happen so fast, and you don't know when the next opportunity that you need to use that tool in the next situation. So yeah, had a lot of fun in it. Learned a lot of things. Feel like I can take some going to this O'Reilly um, Auto Parts series, not just Daytona, but other places as well, and look forward to seeing how it pans out.
Hey, I just asking, the fans are going to want to know, man, how's the short track package? Are you going to actually come back and dabble if you got time? What's the status of that, man?
Yeah, we're building a brand new Fury right now, so hopefully to sell my two Furies right now that I got, and just upgrade and go down to one car makes it easier on my dad and the financial side and just parts wise to focus in on one late model and make it the very best we can be and continue to go out and win races. Now on a schedule, it's hard for us to put a good schedule together right now, just pending O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, where that schedule lies. If we somehow are going to run full time, I don't know if I'll make five late model races. Really, it's just hard. The truck series is different because you race on Friday nights, and we drove a couple times through the night to make Saturday races. Well, with O'Reilly, you're usually have to be there Friday, and you're racing Saturday, and it kind of puts in a tough spot for the rest of the weekend with late model racing. But if there's some races, probably Slinger, couple Sundays. Would like to make them work, obviously, but yeah, well, the late model schedule will just be hit and miss right now. Hopefully, we can put something out online, schedule wise, and have decent schedule. But obviously, the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series is the main focus for right now.
Hmm.
I'm going to play off of my last question there, talking about going from short track to super speedways being the biggest transition. I also think going from short track to trucks because of the way, we talk about aero and air moving around
Mm.
these vehicles so much, especially at the upper levels. We talk about it at short track now, which is crazy, but at the upper levels. But the way the truck is designed, the air, I feel like just does the most crazy things in that. Now you're going to
Mm.
go back into a traditional kind of car with the O'Reilly car. What do you expect the changes to be, and do you think you'll be more comfortable versus being in a truck where you were comfortable already in the truck, but do you expect to be more
Hmm.
comfortable right off the bat in a more traditional car like the O'Reilly car?
It's a good question. The truck series is just full of there's air in everything, whether it's the top level of NASCAR or the bottom level of NASCAR or ARCA or whatever. Late models now we it plays a role in, but um, trucks and air, those things have so much downforce that we're just so wide open when we go to places like Charlotte, Vegas, Texas, 3 and 4, and Texas is just you're not wide open, but you're basing your truck off barely lifting, and you're in the throttle a lot, so that thing you have to be super aggressive in the throttle and just kind of on kill mode, where the Xfinity car is a little bit different. I feel like it doesn't have as much downforce, and you actually have to use the brake pedal at some of these mile and a halfs, not probably not all of them, but just makes it more of a race car, where the truck you're just wide open on kill mode and ton of downforce, a lot of speed, and just throttle time wins. It's like racing something slow that has no motor. It just needs a lot of wound up, and you got to have throttle time to be fast in those things. So looking forward to adjusting to that. I've talked to a lot to Connor Zillich lately about the transition from trucks to Xfinity, or to the O'Reilly auto parts car, and it we kind of said the same thing, with the dirty air and in the trucks, and it was just a hard thing to figure out. And you need to have a lot of speed. You got to run them things really free, and if you're tight, you're not even in the ball game with the truck series. So, looking forward to just seeing the difference and learning the difference, and being in a freer car, and just yeah, just excited to see how that transition goes. Haven't ran it. Gonna do sim here probably in the next couple of weeks, and just understand it all, because it is a new tire and new race car. So hoping to figure it out quickly and just have speed with it.
What are some things that you've been focusing already on this new ride here down in? Are they located in North Carolina?
Mm.
What
Yeah,
have
yeah.
you been focusing on? Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of it's just been it's kind of been a mess, right? Well, not really a mess. It's just such a busy time of year with Daytona going on. There's sponsorship things going on, and licensing things with NASCAR, and just a lot going on. So it's hard. Haven't done a ton of preparation for Daytona, but we've rewatched the race already, and have talked about our pitch strategy. Have talked about some of the things we can do and people that we can work with if we're in a content spot, and qualifying, things like that. So even Friday for our planned practice and have single car speed and some of those things. So we've done a good job in the shop getting to know the guys. My main thing is getting to know everybody, so we're comfortable at the racetrack and we work hard for each other. And um, obviously, the business aspect of the NASCAR side is by far the hardest thing, and to control, to wrap your mind around that, compared to going and actually having fun and racing. That's not the easy part, but it's the fun part and what we all want to do. The business side is the hard part and the stressful part, and one week you're in, one week you're out. Feels like in this game, so just have to keep working hard at it, and that's really where I'm at. Is focusing on the business side for right now. for a couple more days, and then full driver mode here shortly, prepping for Daytona and knowing what I need to do when I show up there, and going out and executing it.
How would it feel to get a top 10 out of the box, man? Why don't you make that happen? How would that feel?
Yeah, that'd be a good. It'd be a really good, first start and first finish, and that's just what we need to do. We need to. We'll have speed. I'm fully. I think we'll have really good speed. So as long as we can just control our race, hopefully nothing dumb happens. It's hard. These speedway races are fun, and mentally they're draining, and they're just a lot of fun to race. But something stupid can always happen. Whether you're pushing on lap five, there's no reason to push on lap five. Just um, So yeah, it'd be a good first day to go out and get a top 10 and showcase our speed and showcase our team. And I feel like we're gonna have speed all year long, so be a good start.
Are you looking forward to racing a little bit longer distance wise in the O'Reilly series? I know it's not a huge difference from what the truck runs, but they do run a little bit more laps, more miles around there. Are you looking forward to doing that? Will that be a big challenge for you, or not really?
No, I don't think it'll be a endurance wise or body wise. I don't think it'll be a much of a challenge. I feel like I've been in a good spot with races really since I've been in the Chevy program. Ever since then, late model races, ARCA races, truck races, I've been fine in. So, um, late model races are honestly some of the longer ones. The Dixieland and Slinger Nationals just gets mentally and hot, um, and then snowballs. So some of those races are more training than feel like some of the NASCAR ones, because they got the stage breaks and you get breaks. Like the truck races weren't very long at all. So looking forward to that. A little longer race, a little longer season. So obviously sponsorship pending on that side of things, but yeah, excited for it. Excited to adapt to this new race car, and just excited to work with my guys. It's a good opportunity, and we're working hard for each other. So I hope it pans out.
You mentioned talking to Connor Zilich there. Obviously, had a tremendous season last year with Junior Motorsports. But you guys were both with PRG a few years ago,
Mhm.
and you even got to do some pit road work there at Watkins Glen. I remember you
Yeah.
changing tires and all of that. Did you guys talk about how similar are the ARCA cars going to be a help, and that experience going to be a help to go to O'Reilly, or are they still pretty different?
Um, we really didn't touch base on. He's probably one of my closer friends down in Mooresville. There's a couple ones, but Connor and I just have grown up really in the Chevy group together, and then the ARCA days, and then I left for a while with the truck stuff, so I haven't been back there. And then this last little bit I've been back there, so it's good to catch up with them. But yeah, he's just a good race car driver. He figures it out, and he's had the talent from the get go. So to rely on some of those guys' ideas and just pick their brain in certain situations is always a help. Obviously, as a race car driver, you're going to do what you really do behind the wheel no matter what. You're kind of going to figure it out on your own, but to be prepared in some of these different situations is really the biggest thing. And he was in the same spot. He had a certain amount of truck races and then went to Xfinity. So um he understood where I was coming from on the truck side of things, and we were kind of relating it to the Xfinity side, and just the differences and the changes that will happen. And obviously he was with a good team as well, so he was prepared well and ready to go for that opportunity.
What's it been like being with a brand new team? You're kind of almost starting together. You're moving into O'Reilly new, they're moving into the O'Reilly new. It came together late. What's that been like, kind of building together this off season?
Yeah, it's been pretty chaotic. I'm not gonna lie. It's just new people are coming in, people are getting hired, and it's all new to me. Like ThorSport had their management pretty taken care of, and they knew what they were doing from the get go. So this is all it's new to me on my side of things. It's new to Chris on the owner side of things. Everything's new. PR is new. So just to get the ball rolling is really the hardest thing, sponsorship wise, just everything. It's just a chaotic thing right now going on. But we're figuring it out and we're dealing with it and we're working hard at it. And the guys are great guys, smart guys. Joe's great. Got good race cars and they're prepared well. So no reason we shouldn't be competitive.
So yeah, before we came on, you said you were out snowmobiling, man. So you're trying to keep yourself busy, man. How do you sleep at night when you know that that's on the back burner fixing to come up here?
Well, that was just part. There's the business stuff is just the hardest thing to wrap your mind around, and you can drive yourself crazy thinking about it and worrying
Yeah.
about it, and yeah, it was just I came home for a little bit, couple days this week, and we decided to go snowmobiling, and that's kind of the time you get to relax and not think about it for a little while. And it's good to have those moments and try to balance it out a little bit. But at the end of the day, this is my life, so we just got to keep working hard at it and figuring it out.
Who's going to be your spotter down at Daytona?
Brett Anderson. He does Todd Gilliland in the Cup Series. He's got Eckes in the truck, and me for Xfinity, and then O'Reilly. Jeez. Um,
Hey, I hear you. I've done it a few times. Yep.
and he's a great guy. I like Britt a lot, and yeah, he was spot me in a couple snowball derbies in the past, and we've got along really well and clicked. So yeah, looking forward to that.
The reason I asked her is so I feel like people would want to know that, but also crucial at those super speedways. I mean, you're
Hmm.
talking split second decisions that you guys got to be comfortable. So
Yeah, you got to have trust, and you got to listen to them. Those things happen fast, and you're clear by inches, and just everything. There's a lot that goes on at those super speedways, whether it's right in front of you, you can't really see. So a lot goes on, and you got to be able to trust your spotter and rely on them in certain situations. But yeah, it's gonna be a good group, so I'm excited for it.
last question for me here, Luke. Appreciate the time as always, buddy. When will you go down to Daytona? Will you go down a few days early? What's your plan for going down to Daytona?
Yeah, we have some sponsorship things going on prior to Daytona, and then I think I fly out of Charlotte Wednesday, so I'll be down there before that at the shop and everything, getting ready to go. And yeah, maybe run down to Speed Weeks Thursday or something for a little bit. But yeah, got Thursday sponsor obligations. Friday got practice right away. And then yeah, that kicks us off on the season.
It's right around the corner. So
Hmm.
hey,
Yeah.
man, we always appreciate the hell out of you. You've been so good to us. We're so happy to see your success. You're just a good guy, and it's good to see good guys succeed. So we appreciate you. So happy for this opportunity. Can't wait to see what you do with it. We know you'll do great. So have some fun, and thanks again, man.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Luke, man. Good luck, man, down there.
Thank you.
Man, how exciting is that for Luke to be joining Hettinger Racing in that number 5 Ford Mustang there? That deal came together late. I was so happy to hear that Luke's getting that opportunity to move up. I would like to have heard what percentage full time could be as an option for him. I didn't want to put him on the spot, but sounds like at least that is an option, or at least to get 5 more races, 15 more races. So hopefully that opens up. Would love to see him full time. He has earned it 100%. He's a great talent, a great guy. So happy to see him get this opportunity. It's cool to see him be able to grow with the team together too. Like, we'll see what they got right away at Daytona and see where it goes from there. But great opportunity for him. I'm happy to see Hettinger move up from, late models. I think they might have dabbled in ARCA, and then now in the O'Reilly series. So it'll be exciting to see what that team does and what Luke does. He's certainly got the talent. So if they put all the equipment underneath them, they'll be fine.
Yeah, that's why I kind of ask him, about being anxious, and thinking about it all the time. You definitely have to try to find something else to do, to just kind of take your mind, because that's just got to be overwhelmingly exciting for him. And well, he's going to learn. He's the boy. So we'll be all cheering him on down over here in the Wisconsin side, man. Let's see how he can do. Wishing him the best.
No doubt. Yeah, and I'm excited to see him get into the I almost did it, O'Reilly car. I almost slipped up there. Uh, that's been a tough transition, I tell you what. But yeah, I'm excited to see him get in that because I feel like it's more similar to the ARCA car or a stock car. You're still going to have bigger aero things happen with the O'Reilly car, but the trucks I just feel like are so challenging with the way they're designed and all that um, I think he'll fit right in with the O'Reilly series, and we'll see. It's a new team; you don't know what to expect, but they got Ford behind them big time, so that's a huge help. And yeah, I think I'm excited to see how they do.
Once when you're qualifying, you're all practicing all by yourself, and just put her to the floor. It's all motor, you know that. But it's when you get into a pack of cars and feeling the draft, and then, and then you really, that's where the learning is going to come about, man, to figure out how all that stuff works. So, all super excited for Luke, man. And hopefully, yeah, love to see how about a top 10 out of the box. That's why I'd say that would be just downright exciting, man.
That would
And
be awesome.
stuff like that can just enhance the rest of the year. So, yep, good luck there.
Yeah, oh, I lost my train of thought, but the way he adapted to super speedway racing right out of the box with ThorSport last year. I mean, you don't see a lot of people. A lot of people are a little hesitant and trying to figure it out. It seemed like he was full board right away, understood it, make good work of it. Yeah, he mentioned the Ben Rhodes incident and doing that, but that's just to me seems circumstantial. It's nothing that he really, maybe he can learn from it, but it's that's part of it. I think he's beating himself up too much about it, but because I think I would rather try to reel it back than try to push someone forward, and I feel like he's pushing forward by himself. So I think that'll be just a-okay for him.
He answered one of those. I was going to ask him, who have you reached out to get some advice, and he brought it out that wow, talking to Connor Zilic, and to sure figure out the transition from the trucks to the cars like this, and yeah, it's cool how other racers will give you the advice of what you expect. So pretty cool that Connor Zilic is communicating with them and trying to help them out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good person to be friends with and everything. Connor, we've met him and had him on during our Milwaukee stuff. So, yeah, he's a good guy as well. So, yeah, but it's always good to bounce ideas off of someone, especially someone who's been as successful as Connor in that series that you're going to be learning this year. So, yeah, that's always a good thing to have in your corner. But yeah, looking forward to seeing Luke down there next week. By the way, I'll mention this now. We're going to go live on Wednesday for Daytona 500 qualifying. So come and join us, talk some racing, watch some qualifying. Going to be a lot of things to talk about during there. We've done that the last, 2 years, Mark, and have
Yep.
had a good time with it. So looking forward to doing so that. We'll see with racing, or maybe we'll go live that weekend too. We got to talk about that. We'll put out posts, but come join us because that's a good time, man. We're talking less than a week away for Daytona 500 qualifying, man.
Yep, that's 7 o'clock. That'll be on FS1 on next Wednesday, man. We're gonna try to establish the front row for the Daytona 500.
Yep, and that's Central Time there. So, yep, come join us. All right, man. Let's talk some news here that's been happening. We'll start with IndyCar. Former Team Penske president Tim Cindric returns to Team Penske as the strategist for the 3-car. That was huge news last year after that attenuator issue at the back of the car in the Indy 500, and Tim was one that ended up losing his job to it. But he is back with Team Penske and going to be the strategist for the 3-car. So some good news for Tim and Team Penske, and we'll see how that works out for them.
Wow. So I didn't know that news there, dude. So that's good. Yeah. Once when you mentioned Cindric, said, yeah, he got let go, but yeah, well, gets to come back. So that might tell you something that he's rather valuable.
Yeah. The Freedom 250 will be in the nation's capital, President Trump announced. It will be at it'll be around the National Mall and will be the 18th race for IndyCar. It's a late addition to the schedule. It'll be August 21st through the 23rd there in Washington, D.C.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds good to me, man. So definitely we'll be paying attention to that one, huh?
We'll move on to the truck series, kind of IndyCar in trucks here. Dario Franchitti is going to compete in the number one truck for Tricon Garage at St. Petersburg. So Dario does have some NASCAR experience. He was in Cup for Ganassi for a little bit. I don't know if he's ever run a truck, maybe a couple, but he's going to be in that number one truck for Tricon. So I think that's great news. Dario is a great talent. So cool to see him hop in at St. Pete.
Well, yeah. So he gets to. He's still running IndyCar, isn't he?
No, he's
No.
been done for some time. Yeah.
That's why I was kind of like wondering, like, well, you could run the Saturday race, and hey, why not just hop on over and get in the Sunday race? I think IndyCar starts their season down there, ain't it?
Yeah. And that's always a big one for IndyCar because, they celebrate Dan Weldon down there, who we greatly missed. That was a big loss there for sure. So that's always a big one down in St. Pete, where I think a lot of drivers have second houses and are just a real big part of the community down there. But Dario, if I'm not mistaken, I think it might have been the St. Pete uh, track where he actually crashed pretty hard. If I remember correctly, it was St. Pete, but he had that big accident. It wasn't too long after that he ended up retiring. So he's been out of it for a little bit.
Okay.
Um, cool news there though. Anytime you can get an icon to race, that's good news. So moving on, talk about icons. Nice Motorsports announced that Cletus McFarlane will drive its number 4 truck at Daytona. So now it'll be McFarlane and Travis Pastrana both in these trucks for the season opener. Brunt and Black Rifle Coffee will be the sponsors. What a teaming that will be with Cletus and Pastrana there, huh?
Absolutely, for sure, man. There's a lot of people going to be dipping down into the truck series. I mean, we already got Tony Stewart already coming, there's a lot of drivers that are be coming and going this year because they kind of loosen that up so that they can race more. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting. I have to keep up with that on the weekly basis.
Yep. And then the 2026 Triple Truck Challenge has been announced for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. It'll be March 20th at Darlington, April 3rd at Rockingham, and April 10th at Bristol. So that is your Triple Truck Challenge schedule coming up for this year.
That's some challenging racetracks right there, man. So they'll earn it.
Yeah. AM Racing announced that they had sold to Sigma Performing Services. But AM Racing also said that the transaction ultimately was not finalized and that they will compete in the O'Reilly Series. The driver is still to be announced there. So AM Racing, that's who Harrison Burton raced for last year. So they announced the sale a few months ago to Sigma Performance Services that had ultimately not get finalized there. Sigma Performance Services is going to continue in the ARCA Menard Series. I think they're primarily in the West, but part of the ARCA Menard Series, and AM Racing is going to continue in the O'Reilly Series. So that did not get finalized, but it was announced. So I just want to let everyone know that has changed.
Okay. Yep. That's a play. That's just on the verge of a playoff team there. So something to build on there.
Yep. This was cool. It's NASCAR related, but it's also Olympics related, which will start up here. I think the opening ceremonies are coming up on Friday, so tomorrow.
Tomorrow night. Yeah.
American luge athletes at the Olympics this month will wear NASCAR branding while getting aero and computational fluid dynamics data and analysis from NASCAR's race car engineers through a new partnership. So how about that? A little bit of dynamics data and aero data floating around there. So that can be important. So that'll be interesting to see how they do with this new partnership.
Remember years, a long time ago, aero was never ever considered, and then all of a sudden just found out just how we sleeked up the cars and how air works, and then we got air tunnels and all that stuff. So yeah, hey, that does matter, man, and there's a lot of technology behind it.
Oh yeah, and wasn't it Jeff Bodine who had a big part in the it wasn't the luge bobsled. He was part of the bobsled team for a while and working on that and aero and all that. Correct?
Yeah, and then old Eagle Eye, as you were when we were walking around Road America. You go, hey, there's Jeff Bodine, get out! And also, I looked just like, oh, and we went over there and we talked to him, and we actually brought that up. Yeah, so he was making bobcats for our Olympic team. So yeah, pretty cool there. Good memory.
Yeah. Yeah, I must have been pretty young. I must have been maybe 20 years old when I did that. I think you were surprised that I even knew who Jeff Bodine was.
Yeah, that too. And then and then you went over by Big Bill Venturini, and you two got into a big old hug, So yeah,
You
good
got that
memories.
picture somewhere. I got to get that from you.
Okay, maybe somewhere. Yeah, I'll have to look for it.
Okay. Good memories there, that's for sure. Denny Hamlin said that he retore his shoulder that he had surgery on back in 2024. He said he fell through going through the rubble at his parents' house. He said that he's delaying surgery, that he's going to try to go through it versus missing 3 to 4 months. So, unfortunate for Hamlin, who's already went through so much this offseason. You think back to losing the championship due to a late caution. His dad not doing well, and then ultimately his parents' house starting on fire, which killed his dad, and his mom's still recovering from it. So now he's got an injury from going through the rubble at the house, and man, oh man, yeah, that's tough. You feel for Denny Hamlin, but sometimes I just want to say this. This is maybe sounding weird, maybe it's off base, I'm not sure, but sometimes these things align kind of strangely and something really good happens. So could this propel him to a championship with all these bad things happening, and then maybe he finds some normal peace inside the car and is able to tear it up this season. So it's just been a tough off seasons for Denny. So you just feel for him and his family.
His body language last night just looked like he's just kind of drifting, and it looks like a kind of a lost soul. And hey, man, racing, isn't that the best medicine of all, man?
Yeah.
Getting in the car, and he got bounced around a little bit last night and everything like that. But probably that's the best place for him is in his office in his race car. You're right. All of this stuff that's coming around, man, could actually be a blessing in disguise to see him pop the finish at the end, man. And we all know he well deserved it, man. He comes so close last year. So, but his body language was quite obvious last night, just like, and when Harvick brought him up and said, hey, good to see you in the car again, and everything like this, and did some communicating, but it was quite obvious.
Yeah, it almost looked like when he's outside of the car, I don't want to say he's just going through the motions, but it still seems like he's borderline still going through the motions and still trying to figure some things out, and just kind of like, I don't want to say, just like blah, like I'm here, and doing his best. So just continued thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family. That's for sure.
Yeah, for his mom, for sure. So I'm sure his mom is very much on his mind all the time, and losing the dad also. But man, that's tough stuff right there, man. So yeah, prayers go out to the Hamlin family there.
Yeah. Here's something else that we talked about on Monday, I think it was, buddy. We talked about Carson Hocevar and him maybe coming at the end of his deal. Does he maybe move over to Hendrick? There's been a lot of news about him moving over to Hendrick, maybe to replace Alex Bowman. What does that look like? But, and then I told you about the Rising series that came out, which is phenomenal. If you fans haven't seen Rising, go check that out. I think it's even on Tubi, but it's on YouTube as well. Just go check that out. It's really good. They follow Raja Karuth, Carson Hocevar, and I'm trying to Jesse Love. So they follow those 3 drivers. So it's really, really cool to go see. So we talked about it, and interesting enough, it was announced today that Spire announced a contract extension for Carson Hocevar that goes into the next decade, meaning the 2030s. Spire also says that Hocevar will do 13 truck races this year. Remember, he doesn't have a limit on him yet because he doesn't have 3 full years of Cup experience. So he's going to do 13 races in the truck, and he is under contract with Spire into the 2030s. So that is huge news there. And, if you do watch Rising, you'll understand that Carson also says this, like Spire lets him be himself, and there's a comfort level with that, and he doesn't want to change that. So this extension does make some sense in that aspect. And, they've shown speed. So good thing for Spire and Carson Hocevar.
And he looked good last night, man.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he got the lead there, past halfway. It started like, hey, is he going to pull this off and everything? And then, Bowman Gray showed its side, and Bubba Wallace was a little bit chippy, so unfortunate there. But yeah, man, well deserved, man. We're going to see Hocevar around, and boy, I mean, tons of sponsorship that's going on there and everything. So expecting good things out of Hocevar's camp this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, it was also announced that the NASCAR channel on Tubi is gonna simulcast 16 races live from Flow Sports, beginning tomorrow with the opening night at the World Series of Asphalt at New Smyrna. So it's going to start tomorrow night. It'll be Saturday, March 28th, the ARCA Menard Series East at Hickory. April 4th, ARCA Menard Series East at Rockingham. April 30th or May 2nd. It sounds like there's discrepancy in the schedule here with High Limit Racing at Texas Motor Speedway. Then also May 2nd is the ARCA Menard Series East at Nashville, and the ARCA Menard Series West at Shasta Speedway. June 26th, the ARCA Menard Series West at Sonoma. July 1st, the Whelen Modified Tour, the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour at Seekonk. August 20th, High Limit Racing at Santa Maria Speedway. Friday, August 28th, NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour at Stafford Speedway. September 5th, American Flat Track Night 1. September 17th, High Limit Racing at Lucas Oil Speedway. September 26th, the Valley Star Credit Union 300 at Martinsville, which is the Virginia Triple Crown finale. That is a huge race there with the Cars Tour, I believe. October 11th, the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour season finale at Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park. November 7th, the Fall Brawl at Hickory, and Friday, December 4th, Snowball Derby qualifying day and support events will all be simulcast on NASCAR channel through Flow Sports. So be on the lookout for that because that's pretty cool.
And what page did you find that schedule on there, dude?
This is on NASCAR.com.
Okay, that's an easy one there, NASCAR.com. So I already wrote Tubi on here, so that's news to me, man. So that's more racing to watch, and yeah, tomorrow night already. Okay, that gives me something to do tomorrow night.
That's right. Well, that's really really exciting stuff for have it to Tubi's free. So get on Tubi, get on the NASCAR channel. In fact, I got it on in the background right now, watching. They got Clash and Daytona stuff going on here. So they got classic races on there. They got really way back in the race. I think they call it classical races, and then the classic races. They got a bunch of stuff on there. So check out Tubi and the NASCAR channel there. And then of course watching these free live events can't get better than that. So they got a good thing going on over there.
Well, I'll tell you what, fans, another thing is on YouTube, all of a sudden I just went Busch Clash, and I'm watching these like late 70s, early 80s stuff, all of a sudden every night I've been picking up one here or there. I don't remember a lot of that stuff, and it really looks different how Daytona used to be. And there's some really good racing on there. They only, back then it was only the fastest qualifiers before the year before. They were the only ones that were eligible. So sometimes it's only like 10, 12 cars. And hey, shorten them up, less cars, man. It sometimes puts on a better race, man. And I've been checking them out pretty daily, and there's some good stuff on there. YouTube.
Yep. Yeah, I go to YouTube for a lot. They have basically any race that you would ever want to watch is on there from someone. So I've watched the 2002 Daytona 500 recently. I've watched, man, when my work was under construction and we only had the drive-through open and we were able to watch some of that stuff. I watched the 2002 Daytona 500, 2005. All kinds of races on there. It's just crazy the amount of racing. So you can search for anything out there on YouTube. So that's also a good one. But again, I just want to give kudos to Tubi creating the NASCAR channel and for Flow Sports to say that you can have these races because that's pretty awesome.
That's awesome, man. That's good stuff.
Yep. All right. I think that's all I got here. Do you want to talk about well, let's talk about this. What do you think should happen with the Clash going forward? I know that's been a big topic with a lot of people. What's your thoughts on the Clash?
I think if they run one more year and find out just how cold it is, they're gonna have to come up with another idea. February in the northern part of North Carolina, this year it looked more like North Dakota than North Carolina. Um, I don't know, man. Everybody wants to bail and go back to Daytona. Um, you know, they've been trying this short track package, like at the Coliseum and here at Bowman Gray, and maybe that's just too short of a racetrack. Now, I put out this morning, well, think of it this way. When you run the All-Star race, you end up running a smaller pack of cars anyway. They run 20, 22 cars. Well, that would be perfect for Bowman Gray. And the thing is, they run the All-Star race before the Charlotte 600. So they're just right down the road there. They can sleep in their same bed. So why not run Bowman Gray, give the fans a break so they can pack the place and have the All-Star race there, and then figure out what you want to do with the Clash at, some other place. I hope they don't come up with going back to Daytona like you and I talked earlier, like New Smyrna. That's kind of in the neighborhood. I would love to see Pensacola. It's first week of February, and you go, hey, it's really warm out. We could go down to Pensacola and check out the Busch Clash down there. I mean, that would be ideal. I don't know. These short tracks, man, just seem to be just a little bit too short of a short track. It's entertaining, but I don't know. What's your thoughts on that, man?
Yeah, when you brought up Pensacola to me, I thought, well, that would be cool. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like New Smyrna is probably better suited for it. It's closer to Daytona. It seems like even the drivers want to get down to Daytona earlier. I have no problems with Bowman Gray. It's kind of it's not Bowman Gray. It's more of we've seen the quarter mile race, similar racing now with the Coliseum for 2 or 3 years. Then we've had Bowman Gray for 2 years. It's the same old, people that are hitting people 3 cars back end up spinning the car that's 3 cars in front of them. It's good racing. Don't get me wrong. If they decided it again, I'd be okay with it. I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing it back at Daytona. I know I might be in the minority for that. I know there's a lot of racing that goes on at Daytona, but this is my view on it, and I'm thinking it more of from a, I don't know, I feel like a team aspect, but maybe it's not. I always felt like because you're a pole winner, you earned the right to race in the Clash, and that was a test session for the 500. Yes, if you're involved in a wreck, you could be losing a lot more money. But they're still wrecking a lot of stuff at Bowman Gray. Granted, you can still race them again. Maybe you can some at Daytona too. But so I don't know. I'd like to see what the drivers and the teams think. If Daytona, if they feel that way, is Daytona a test session for them with that they've earned, that they feel like that would be the way to go. If they want to go to New Smyrna, that'd be cool too. Would they have to add a safer barrier like Bowman Gray did? I would imagine so. So is New Smyrna willing to do that? Would Pensacola be willing to do that? Pensacola, you lose kind of the character of the racetrack if you lost too much distance there from the wall to the racetrack. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm curious what other people think too. Right now, I'm thinking I'm favoring Daytona, but if they went back to Bowman Gray, I really wouldn't have an issue with it either. So I'm kind of stuck in the middle.
Yeah, even if with the weather, man, it would have sucked all the way down to Florida. There was just cold weather everywhere. So it's just kind of like one of those years. So we'll see. There's going to have to be a decision made if it happens again next year that it's just so cold there. They'll probably reconsider, and there's some well-paid people that could make some decisions on that. New Smyrna probably would be ideal because that's just right down the road, So, yeah, they'd be down there early and they get a wheel in their hand, and yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, for sure. Any final thoughts from you, buddy?
Hey man, yesterday, finally, 100%. It is for sure that they are running the
Yeah.
oval, the mile and a half oval at Charlotte. There was always this 1%, like, we don't know. I guess there was some communication, and one thing led to another, and all of a sudden, everybody all decided that the Charlotte Oval has been putting out such a great product that is 100% for sure that they are going to run that this year.
Yep. Yep. That did come out. Thanks for bringing that up because I know that was yeah 1% chance that it doesn't happen, but it is official now. So
Hey, tomorrow night's the last episode of Race for the Seat.
yeah.
How do you like that series that was worked with Colleague Racing? How do you feel about this 8 race entertaining television show that's been on?
Yeah, I've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying watching it. I think there's some people that have an advantage right off the bat from being from the area, racing at the tracks or racing the cars that they're using. But at the same time, they're giving people an opportunity that might not have that opportunity. So if you're going to NASCAR, I feel like you have to adapt quickly. So that's one of the tests that is going to. So I think you're seeing some good talent racing. I think you're getting to know some of the guys that are around the country that are trying to get into this ride and all that. So that's pretty cool. It's cool to see Grant competing. It seems like it's down to 2 people. It's Minnie Tyrell or Connor Ferguson. I feel like it's the worst kept secret of who actually wins it. I won't spoil it for anyone.
Me,
But
including me, I don't know yet.
yeah, I'm pretty sure I know who gets it. We'll see tomorrow night. I think it's between kind of Minnie Terrell and Ferguson there, but could someone make up some ground? Are they going to throw a wrinkle in the episode number 8 coming up tomorrow night, or what are they going to do with it? So we'll see what happens. But it's been entertaining nonetheless. It's cool to see Ram get extra exposure. Colleagues doing a good job with it. I know some people are saying this is not making them favor. They're not liking colleague anymore. That they don't like how it's been presented from colleague side of things. I don't see that at all. I think it's been pretty entertaining, so it's a pretty cool deal. I know we talked about it that Roush had that deal, and it's bode well for some Wisconsin drivers like Hasley and Darnell and a few others there. But yeah, I think it's been cool. I'll certainly be watching tomorrow night to see who takes it home, how it does. I know Grant was featured in the pre-up to it. They're racing at South Boston tomorrow in late models, so hopefully he does well. That's what I'm looking for, and seeing who ends up getting the ride.
It's been interesting, you just think it's going to be racing, but then all of a sudden, hey, guess what? You're going to put out a 5-minute commercial, and if you think about that, that's very important, because you're representing the corporation, and then, then they went on and did some other stuff, all of a sudden, once when you try to do get physical, and start doing sit-ups and endurance and stuff like that, and that's important too. And so they thought outside the box. You figure, oh, this is just going to be nothing but racing, but there's more than just holding the wheel and going and racing because of the business side of it, and the representation of the business. And so they've thought outside the box, and I kudos for that, man.
Yeah, the commercial, the press conference that they did, the working out session that they did. So it's not just been all racing. They've been doing road courses, circle track, legends, late models, go-karts, all of it. So it's been pretty cool. I think it's been cool to see the drivers interact with each other and seeing how, for the most part, they've been all supportive of each other. There was that one incident in 2 episodes ago, which kind of carried over into this last one there. But all in all, seems like they all got a good head on their shoulders, and it's cool to see them compete for it.
That could have been part of the show, and it puts that in their script just sort of kind of go along. But hey, they look like they're eating well, and holy smokes, man, they even got fishing poles. You go off in the backyard and go fishing, just like, wow, what else, So Grant Griesbach has been, constantly looking for him and everything. He doesn't have the experience, once we come up and say, hey, dude, now that you've been driving everything around here, are you going to get in a Legends car too now? He might like that kind of car. We kind of pick his brain and see how he feels about a Legend car and how it acted and how the tracks work down there.
Yeah, and good experience for him though to go through that process. He's got all the talent in the world, so it'll be cool to see. Does this lead to an opportunity potentially? You meet some different people. You just never know. So
You never know.
it's pretty cool. I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, man, the quarter mile late models brought their schedule out late this afternoon. I haven't jotted it down yet, but I did look across there, and I guess they have another race that's TBA to be announced later. But it looks like a good, solid, once again, schedule for the late models on the quarter mile.
Yep. Looking forward to their season. I know they're planning on going up to Norway for that big race that they have out up there. So that's cool. They got some other things planned, and we'll see what that announcement will be. But another good schedule for them. I know we've had a lot of schedules announced that we haven't really gotten dived into just yet, but they were one that announced it today. So yeah, it was cool to see what came out there.
Awesome, man. So yeah, that's about what all I got, man. Boy, we're getting closer to Speed Weeks, man. This last Sunday was just a bummer, man. There ain't no football and there was no racing, and it just it was kind of like one of them Sundays, But yeah, we got the Super Bowl. Everybody knows we got to get through that, and then finally we can put the football away and we can get our helmets out and the steering wheels and let's go racing.
All right. Well, since you brought it up, who's your? Can I ask you I can ask you who your pick is to win because there's a competition going on. Shoot.
There is.
Okay, I will. Are they gonna listen to this? They ain't gonna listen to this. Can I? Will you share who you're gonna pick? I'm not. It don't matter for me. I'm not in the running.
Are you talking for the poll or what are you talking about?
No, the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl. Teams always have a hard time getting from the East Coast to the West Coast, and Seattle plays out there every time. Every year they play out there. I like New England's coach. He's the type that actually could pull it out. But I'm going to think about Seattle and a close one, probably by a field goal. That's what it's looking like for me. How about you?
Yep, I'm going with Seattle. It'll be interesting. The quarterbacks, journeyman Sam Darnold, who's had 2 good seasons now, but other than that, he's been a journeyman. The youngster Drake May, he looks like he's the real deal. Can he capitalize on his first Super Bowl? It would be a good story either way for Drake May or Sam Darnold and the teams. You think about you mentioned the coach there.
Mike Vrabel.
Vrabel, there you go. He lost his job over in Tennessee, and he joined New England. And can he? He's won a few Super Bowls as a player. So I think it'll be Seattle. I'll say this too. Nolan thinks the Patriots. He was on Seattle, but the last few days he's switched to the Patriots. So that's who Nolan's got. We'll see. It'll be exciting game. I think it could be more of a defensive game than people think. I think it could be a lot of back and forth on defense and slow pace maybe, which is fine. I'm okay with that, but maybe a lot of people aren't. But that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting Seattle to pull it off, and for it to be kind of slow pace.
Patriots have not lost on the road all year, dude. So, and they're on the road going out to Santa Clara. So, we'll see. That doesn't matter, man. It's on 5:30 on Sunday. Let's hope it's a good one.
Yep, for sure. Well, enough football talk here for a moment. That'll end it here. Thank you to Tim, Ben, and Carrie for all that you do for us and the community. Just remarkable. Mark, thank you as always. Everyone else, thank you for your support. Have some fun watching the Super Bowl this weekend. then we'll be back with you next Wednesday. We'll probably be on 6:30, 6:45 if to get ready for Daytona 500 qualifying next Wednesday. So until then, have a great weekend, rest of your week, and hey, we'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. See you on the sim.
See ya.
This has been a production of Lore Sports. Hope you all enjoyed it, and thank you for listening.